In this 20th day reading of Sri Viveka Chudamani, we are going to look at a question and associated answer which has been raised by the student to the Guru at the end of describing the Vijnanamaya Kosa. शिष्य उवाच भ्रमेणाप्यन्यथा वास्तु जीवाभावः परात्मनः तदुपाधेरनादित्वात् नानादेर्नाशयिष्यते अतोऽस्य जीवभावोऽपि नित्यो भवति संश्रुतिः न निवर्तते तन्मोक्षः कथं मे श्रीगुरो वद. Now, Shishya asked this question. Brahmena api anyadhava astu. By delusion or maybe some other thing, whatever it is. Jiva bhavaha paratmanaha. So the Supreme Self has taken up a feeling of Jiva. Jiva bhavaha paratmanaha. Tadu upadhe anaditva. The upadhi, the reason, the form of it, the avidya, is anadi, which is not having a beginning. Beginningless upadhi is there. Nanadesar naishyate. So, neshyate anadehe na anadehe nasaha na ishyate. Whatever is beginningless has not having an end also. Beginningless is also endless. So, ato asya jiva bhavopi nityo bhavati samsrutihi. So, what happens? This jiva bhava becomes nitya, eternal. So, the limitation becomes eternal. Because of the limitation, the samsruti, the samsara becomes eternal. Na nivarteta, it cannot be removed. Tan mokshaha katham, then how the liberation can be possible? May Sri Guru Vada, O great Guru, please explain. This is the question raised by the Sishya. Sri Guru Vacha. Now Shankara is saying a Guru will teach like this. Samyak prushtam tvaya vidvan savadhanena tachrunu pramaniki Nabhavati Bhrantya Mohita Kalpana. So, first Guru is actually appreciating the Shishya for asking the right question. That gives an indication that Shishya is following the teaching and applying his knowledge of logic to it and putting up the right question to Guru. He Vidwan, Tvaya Samyak Prushtam, properly asked this question, Savadhanena Shrunu. So listen to this answer very carefully without digressing your mind from this subject. Because it is very difficult to understand if you are not attentive. So that is very important. Savadhanena Tatsrunu. Bhrantya mohita kalpana. So, by the Bhranti, whatever is imagined, mohita kalpana, pramaniki na. So, it can never become a pramana, means it can never become a fact. This is the first point of logic Sankara has brought up. Bhrantim vina tvasangasya nishkriyasya nirakrutehe na ghatetardha sambandho nabhaso nilatadivat. So, Bhrantim vina asangasya, the Atma is not attached. Nishkriyasya, Atma is not involved in actions. Nirakrutehe, which is not having any form. Nabhasaha, in the same way, not attached to anything. Nabhasaha, space. The space is not attached, not active, not having any form. Nabhasaha niladivat. But when we look into the sky, into the space, we see the blueness of the sky. So we say there is blue sky. Nabhasaha niladivat. Then we see in the space there are clouds and all those objects, actions, everything. Bhrantim vina ardhasambandha na ghateta. So all these attachments which we are doing to the space are only misapprehension of the original true nature of the space. So Niladivat, the blueness of the sky is an example. So when we really inquire into that blueness of the sky, we realize that the sky has no form, no color, nothing is required. So inquiring properly into this blueness goes away. Otherwise, the blueness remains and objects remain and everything will remain. So all these causes come due to considering the blueness to be the truth. So that is need to be understood here. Then we go to next. Sankara is going to the question like how is the liberation possible? So we are saying this is only Bhranti or delusion only is causing the qualities, kriyas, everything to the Atma, just like space is being attributed with the attribute of blueness. Swasya drashtur nirgunasya kriyasya pratyak बोधानंद रूपस्य बुद्धेः भ्रांत्या प्राप्तो जीवभावो न सत्यो मोहापाये नान्य ना स्वस्य द्रष्टा द व्यूअर बुद्धे भ्रांत्या प्राप्तः जीवभावः Satya na. So, for the Atma, swasya drashtu, nirgunasya akriyasya bhrantya prapto, jeva bhavo na satyo. So, the jeva bhava is not true. Jeva bhava is not true. Mohapaye. Once the delusion is gone, mohapaye nasti avastu swabhavat. So it is because it is not fact. Once the delusion is gone, there is no question of describing the blueness of the sky in the earlier example if we see. So because it is the blueness is not true, it cannot be considered as real and go on explaining that. So yavat bhrantis तावदेवास्य सत्ता मिथ्याज्ञानो जुरुम्भितस्य प्रमादात् रज्ज्वां सर्पो भ्रांतिकालीन एव भ्रांतेर्नासे नैव सर्पोपि तद्वत्. So to clarify the same thing, we go back to our example of snake in the rope. Yavat bhrantis tavadevasya satta. As long as delusion is there, till there only asya, this non-thing becomes a thing and it appears. Bhranti. Tavadeva satta. Only until then the existence or the appearance of such non-thing is there. Sarpaha, the snake, bhrantikalina eva, only in the duration, for the duration of bhranti alone, it exists. Bhrantehe nase, once the bhranti is gone, sarpaha naiva asti. So there is no snake. So here midhyajnano jrumbhitasya pramadat. Only the midhyajnana, only the false knowledge grows, all these troubles arise of explanations. So the key thing here is Bhranti is creating falsehood. That falsehood cannot be considered as fact to bring logic into that falsehood. Anaditvam avidyayah karyasyapi tadheshyate उत्पन्नायां तु विद्याया मा विद्यकमनाद्यपि प्रबोधे स्वप्नवत्सर्वं सह मूलं विनश्यति अनाद्यपीदं नो नित्यं प्रागभाव इव स्फुटम् अनादेरपि विध्वंसः प्रागभावस्य वीक्षितः. So tadupadher anadirnam. Now for the point of the question which has been asked, saying that what is beginningless is also endless, so there is no way it can end. For that the answer is being given by the Guru. Avidyaya karyasyapi, for this avidya's karya Vijnanamaya Kosa, Avidyaya Karyasyapi Vijnanamaya Kosa, our discussion point is Vijnanamaya Kosa. Tatha, like Avidya only, Anaditvam, it is not beginningless. Yeshyate, it is agreed that it is beginningless. Tu Vidyayam Utpannayam, when once the Vidya is real nature is understood, experienced, direct experience of real nature comes up, avidyakam sarvam anadyapi prabodhe swapnavat sahamulam vinasyati. Even though it is beginningless, once the knowledge arises, once the real experience, direct experience of the truth comes forth, the avidya along with all these karyas goes away. Just like dream becomes unreal on waking up. Idam anadyapi pragabhava iva nityam no. Just like pragabhava, which is not there in the beginning, it is not eternal. Even though beginningless, it is not eternal. It is beginningless but not eternal. Sputam. So the dream, we can't say dream experience begin or when was the, so if in the dream, if I see myself put in the jail, for example, so when I was in the jail, from the beginning I was in the jail, but after the dream, once I wake up, there is no dream, no jail, no jailer. So there is an end to it. Without the bondage which is created in the dream will not continue after waking up. In the same way, anaderapi pragabhavasya vidvamsaha vikshitaha. So which cannot be determined when the bondage has started. The beginning cannot be determined, so we call it as beginningless, but end can be determined. In the same way, avidya and its all the modifications of avidya known as different layers of personality. That is what Swami Chinmayananda uses. The word, the layers of personality, individuality. Vyakti, vyaktam. Vyakti is actually, we have to draw a boundary. So these multiple boundaries which layer by layer we are drawing up, right from the most effulgent Atma to each kosas. These layers of personality, everything will go away with that. So there are multiple questions. If we go into the really logical description of this thing, saying that pragabhava, which is the non-existence before the creation, and dhvamsa bhava, non-existence after the destruction. Before creation, there is one type of non-existence, and after destruction, there is another type of non-existence. So there are multiple technical terms which comes into this thing, and there could be several explanations, questions, and answers here. Most of the questions, or most of the criticism for the Advaita Vedanta arises at this point, around how and why the destruction can happen, and trying to explain the delusory vision. Not accepting it being delusory is the fundamental cause of that, like blueness of the sky. And exactly the same expression is used by Bhagavan Vasishta in the Yoga Vasishta Maharamayana also. So this, it is inexplicable. So it cannot be explained basically. Right. So moving on to the next, on the Upadhi and the further points, in the next two slokas, on the Upadhi. Yad buddhyupadhi sambandhat परिकल्पितम आत्मनि जीवत्वं न ततोन्यस्तु स्वरूपेण विलक्षणम. In the Atmani buddhyupadhi sambandhat, by getting attached to the intellect, buddhi upadhi sambandhat, by attached to the buddhi. So buddhi is our vijnanamaya kosa. Yat jivatvam parikalpitam. So there is a imagined thing called jiva, imaginary thing called jivatvam parikalpitam. Tataha anyat surupena vilakshanam natu. So tataha, other than that, anyat, there is truthful surupena asamsaritvadi rupa vilakshanam natu. So Jiva Bhava, this feeling of Jiva Bhava is not true. So this is only the Upadhi Kalpita, imaginary form. There is no other form other than this kind of in the snake in the rope. So the meaning is clear here, clear in the sense, the meaning is Upadhi sambandhat kalpitam atmani. Jiva is not real. So this is what is the thing being reinforced again. Sambandha swatmano buddhya midhyajnana parasparaha vinivrittir bhavet tasya samyajnanena nanyatha. So the mithya jnana has been explained, the imaginary knowledge has been explained. There is something imagined, the imagined thing is experienced. In that experience, several other experiences are coming up. Sambandha swatmano buddhya midhyagana purassaraha vinivrittir bhavet tasya samyajnanena nanyatha. So samyak jnana. So mithya jnana is the imaginary thing, a knowledge about imaginary things. The only opponent for that is the samyak jnana, the real knowledge. So this samyak jnana comes. What is samyak jnana? Now it is being described. So this is the single line. Brahmatmaikatva vijnanam samyajnanam sruter matam. So I would say that this is the whole conclusion of Srutehe, all the Vedic Vedantas, what they are saying, Brahma Atmaikatva Vijnanam Samyak Jnanam Sruter Matam. Brahma Atma Ekatva Vijnanam. There is Supreme is not different from the Atma or the Self. Self is Supreme. This knowledge alone not reading. Experiencing that alone is known as Samyak Jnanam. That's why Tadatman Atmano Samyak Vivekenaiva Siddhyati. Tadatman Atmano Naiva Samyak Vivekenaiva Siddhyati. Tato Vivekah Kartavya Pratyagatma Asadatmano. Atmanatmanoho, Atma and Anatma, Samyak, properly, Vivekenaiva, by discriminating them properly, that Samyak Jnana Siddhyati. Samyak Jnana is possible through Samyak Viveka, right discrimination, not false discrimination. Siddhyati. Tataha Pratyagatma Asadatmanoho. What is true nature, Pratyagatma, and what is the ego, or what is the Asadatma? Jiva. We can say Jiva or ego, or all these are paryaya padas, means all these are equivalent words which have come to describe the illusory self. Pratyagatma Asadatmano Vivekadaha Kartavyaha. So Viveka, discrimination, proper discrimination is the Kartavya, is the thing which you need to be done. Jalam Pankadavaspashtam Pankapaye Jalam Sputam Yatha Bhati Tadhasmapi Doshabhave Sputaprabhaha. Pankavat Jalam Aspashtam. Once polluted, the water is not clear, it will be aspashtam. Pankapaye, once it is the impurities or the panka or the mud is removed from the water, jalam sputam yatha bhati, water will be purely visible. Yatha bhati, it becomes visible in a pure form. Atmapi doshabhave sputaprabhaha. So Atma also, the real true self, becomes very clear once all these mud, all this panka, all this pollution is removed from it. Salilam eko drashta. So water is pure. By the mud it will not be clear. In the same way, Atma is pure and it will be mixed with all this imaginary stuff. It is not clear. That need to be removed. So to clarify further, asannivruttautu sadatmanaha sphuta pratitiretasya bhavet pratichaha tato nirasah karaniya eva sadatmanaha satyahamadi vastuvaha. So what are the panka, or what are these pollutions? Etasya praticha sadatmanaha sphuta pratiti. So etasya, this praticha sarvantaramaina, so it is which is pervading everywhere. Sadatmanaha, the true self. Sputapratitihi, its clear vision. Asannivruttau, by removing the asat, like ahankara. Bhavet tataha asadatmanaha ahamadi vastuvaha. Ahankara, Vijnana, this individual knowledge, Vijnanamaya kosya, all these vastus, Ahankaradi, Nirasaha. Nirasaha is by removing. Sadhu Karaniyaha, properly removing these vastus which are the panka in there, thereby the Vijnana, thereby the true nature of self. So, ato nayam paratmasyad vijnanamaya sabdabhak vikaritvat jadatvacha parichannatva hetutaha drusyat दृश्यत्वात् व्यभिचारित्वात् नानित्यो नित्य इष्यते. अतः by this नायम ना अयम, this विज्ञानमय कोश na ayam nirvika vikaritvat, it is having the transformations. Jadatvat, it is not conscious by itself. Parichinna hetutaha, it is causing the differentiation between the things and pieces of knowledge and concepts, everything. Drusyatvat, it is being identified, it can be viewed, it can be understood, it can be observed by the Atma. So the Drusyatvat, Vyabhicharitvat, it is going here and there, moving into the multiple forms. Paramatma nasyat, it cannot be the Atma. So that is what Paramatma, this cannot be the Supreme Self. Nityaha Atma, which is eternal and pure, Anityaha Vijnanamaya Kosaha Neshyate. So it cannot be agreed that Vijnanamaya Kosa, which is Anitya, as the Nitya. So various philosophies in the world, to name that Buddhism, everything, they come only until the Vijnanamaya Kosa. They can't cross beyond this. People say that the knowledge or the awareness itself is the consciousness. And once we remove this, there is nothing. So that misunderstanding need to be given up. So this Vijnanamaya Kosa, this individual knowledge or whatever is individual layer of awareness which is coming through these various upadhis is not eternal or not eternal truth. It cannot be accepted as a fact and be explained. This is the conclusion of today's question and answer. So the question asked by the Sishya is, if it is beginningless, will it be endless? If it is endless, will there be a moksha? And how that moksha can be achieved? So all those are answered, and also Shankara concludes the Vijnanamaya Kosa as not eternal, not the Atma. So with this we will close today's reading. Swasti.